Hey, what's going on, everybody? LEIGHTDICKEY here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of LEIGHTDICKEY TV. Today I want to give you my thoughts and first impressions on the relaunch of the XFL. Alright, so yes, going back into a bit of history before we get into the relaunch of the XFL, for those of you that have been around for a while, like myself, and that are old enough to remember the original XFL, which was a 50-50 split between Vince McMahon and, at the time, the WWF, now the WWE, they went into a 50-50 venture split with NBC and NBC Sports on this new Extreme Football League, the XFL. And after one season, it bit the dust and basically went away. Now, this version of the XFL, this brand new 2020 version of the McMahon land, Vince McMahon helmed by himself 100%. He owns it. It's his project. It's his baby. The original impression I get, or at least the first impression I get, I enjoyed. I didn't see the whole first game. I probably came in maybe with about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Stuck around for about a half an hour, and then I went throughout the rest of my day. Now, I love football, right? I love the NFL. I even loved the Alliance of American Football, which is the league that Charlie Ebersol, the son of Dick Ebersol, who was the head of NBC Sports at the time of the XFL's original launch back in 2001. I enjoyed the Alliance of American Football simply because it was an alternative to the NFL, and I'm just a fan of football itself, right? So anything that is different from the NFL, anything that's different in general, I love. So the Alliance of American Football was right up my alley. The new XFL, right up my alley. I loved the original XFL simply because it was different, you know, and knowing that Vince McMahon, and I'm a big fan of wrestling too, so knowing that Vince McMahon started a football league, that was like mind-blowing to me back in those days. So the fact that he relaunched it almost 20 years later, super cool. I've been clamoring for it. I think everybody has. Their slogan is "For the Love of Football," and hopefully this new XFL, or the rebirth, this reborn XFL, survives, because the NFL needs competition. I'm sorry, but they do. For those of you out there that don't think so, I beg to differ. They need competition, or well, not necessarily competition, but there needs to be an alternative to the NFL, in my opinion. As much as I love the NFL, as much as I love football, there needs to be an alternative to the NFL. I know the Alliance of American Football, the AAF, they were in a good spot, but ran into some financial trouble and had to shut down after 1 year. Now, hopefully, this new McMahon helmed by himself. McMahon's at the helm. There is no NBC Sports. There is no 50-50 venture split. It's just Vince McMahon by himself with this new version of the XFL. Hopefully, and fingers crossed and every other appendage that I have, hopefully this new version of the XFL will thrive and survive and be a good alternative to the NFL when they're not playing. Now, the original season, or this inaugural first season, I guess you could say, since this is a brand new chapter in the history of the XFL, or in the lifetime of the XFL, it's, from what I gather, 8 teams, 10 weeks, and the championship game is slated to take place on April 26th of this year. And from what I gather, like the first impressions that I got, because I wasn't in on the whole game, I didn't see it start. Like I said, I came in about 10 minutes, with about 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, stuck around for about a half an hour, and I liked what I saw. Like, it's geared towards the more athletic player that I find. There aren't as many sort of hard-hitting tackles. There aren't as many, like, I don't want to call it flag football or touch football, but I didn't really see any hard hits. It was just kind of like a lot of defensive plays in about the 15 or 20 minutes, minus the commercial breaks that I saw. It was a lot of, like, just defensive, get the ball out of here, like, get that out of my house type of stuff. And I liked it. I mean, there were obviously, you know, quarterbacks and athletes have gotten more athletic as the years and decades have gone by. So, to see quarterbacks just run out their own plays and call their own number, again, that's really cool. And, I liked what I saw. The few minutes, like I said, it was like 15, 20 minutes of actual football, and then, 8 to 10 minutes of commercial breaks or something like that. I liked it. It was different. It's a good alternative, in my opinion. I just hope that it survives and thrives and is a good alternative to the NFL. The only thing I didn't like about this new XFL, and I understand that because they tried to do this with the original XFL, was they really tried to give the fans like unprecedented access. So you keep hearing the coaches and the coaching staff on the sidelines, and then every time the play is basically blown dead, every time like a referee or a linesman blows his whistle, they go back to a sideline reporter. I forget what her name was. I don't even know if they flashed up a lower third or a name key. But every time that play was blown dead, there was the reporter on the sidelines in this mini bite-sized interview with a player. It was just like, play's blown dead, cut to the sideline reporter. Next play, play's blown dead, cut to the sideline reporter. And within like the 15, 20 minutes of actual football that I saw, there were probably about 5 or 6, maybe more, cuts back to that sideline reporter. Now, that's really my only gripe with this new version of the XFL. It's good old-fashioned football, it's more athletic. Granted, I don't know if like any quarterbacks or players got destroyed with tackles, because I didn't see the second game at all today. I mean, as of recording, today is February 8th, so there could have been some gnarly hits that I missed, I'm not sure. But it seems to be a more athletic brand of football. It seems to be, in some ways, the same, where they're giving the fans unprecedented access, where you hear coaches and coaching staff call plays on the sidelines, along with obviously your expert commentary up in the booth. But the only thing that I would change is the constantly going back and forth between, a play being called dead and then sideline reporter with small interview. Play takes place, play's called dead, cut back to sideline reporter with player on sideline, small interview. Like, that is the only thing. Because it happened, like I said, probably at least 4, maybe 5, 6 times in 20 minutes. It drove me nuts. Okay? As much as I love football, I tune into a football game to watch football. Okay? Like, that's every now and again, sure. Show me a shot of a coach trying to draw up a play or call a play, or give me a shot of the coaching staff trying to draw something up. Give me a sideline interview every once in a while, but not every time a play is blown dead. Not every time you're looking for something. Like, give me a shot of the coach. I don't need to hear his audio and the stuff coming off of his mic all the time. Right? Give me a small sideline interview every once in a while, not every time the play is blown dead. Not every time, you have to reset for the next play. I don't need to see that every single time. I don't need to see play blown dead, cut back to sideline reporter with small interview with said player. I don't need to see that every time, and I saw that 4, 5, 6 times in less than 20 minutes. It drove me nuts. The same thing with the coach's audio. I don't need to see that every time either. I don't need to see and hear those two things every single time. But what I did like, it was there, it was athletic, it was football. Like, you can't go wrong. It's football. They're just little tweaks that I would make. I don't want to see a sideline reporter every 2 seconds, and I don't need to hear the coach's audio throughout the entire game just because. Like, I'm there for football. I want to see football. I want to watch football. I don't want to watch the sideline reporter, and I don't want to watch a coach every 2 to 5 seconds every time you blow play dead. But that's just my opinion. Those are just my opinions of the initial relaunch of the XFL here on opening day, or what was opening day, February 8th, 2020. I hope this league, this new version of the XFL, survives, thrives, and is a viable alternative and a viable new league to the NFL and any other football leagues that there are out there, including the CFL, the Canadian Football League, which is the league up here in Canada. And to be quite honest with you, I miss the Alliance of American Football as well. I miss the AAF, so hopefully the XFL can be that alternative to the NFL and just give it, not necessarily competition, but give us an alternative to the NFL when the NFL is not in operation for the year or for the time. Just give us something that isn't the NFL, since, the Super Bowl takes place and then you're just right into the launch of this new XFL. Just give us something that's different from the NFL. And, there are subtle differences to the rules. Like, instead of the 3 timeouts that you would get in the NFL, you get 2 in the XFL. And I think it's just, in a way, they're trying to speed up the game, right? Because most NFL games run about 2.5 hours. If you're, 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2.5 hours. If you're counting commercial breaks, so 3 hours in total. But I think they're just trying to speed up the game, which is good, but just give us not so much. Like, I'm not saying don't give us the behind the scenes and the unprecedented access. All I'm saying is not so much of it. I'm there for football. I'm there to watch football. I'm not there to watch a sideline reporter or listen to a coach's audio every 2 to 5 seconds. I just think that's a bit much. Those are just my little gripes and my little nitpicks with the initial relaunch of the XFL, but I did like it. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts on the relaunch of the XFL, which is basically all Vince McMahon? He's got nobody else but himself, so hopefully this new version of the XFL can thrive and survive. Tell me your thoughts and give me your opinions on the relaunch of the XFL posted in the comments below. But until next time, I have been Leigh Dickey. This has been another episode of Leigh Dickey TV. We will see you all next time. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe, and we will talk to you all later. Peace!